What's going on? It's your boy JT and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Stories. This series, of course, we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it. And it is yet again another week, another crushing victory, 2-0 this time, and it was away. And it's another game marching towards the top two places. As things stand, Leeds are 4 points off those top two places, 5 points off Leicester at the top, and hopefully if those two are to drop some points today, Leeds could be in a very, very healthy position. However, it is obviously dependent on those guys dropping points in games which they probably should be winning, but nonetheless, eventually they will drop off the boil, and if Leeds keep on like this, then we will eventually catch them, especially at least one of them, you would hope. And furthermore, West Brom also dropped points, so it is now just Southampton that are really sniffing up our bum cracks. Aside from that, we have a little bit of a gap. I believe it's a 7-point gap now over West Brom, and then Sunderland trailing just behind. So things are starting to settle in nicely for Leeds, but as you said, there is still that final hurdle to climb. But if we keep getting results like this, then I think it is only going to be a matter of time. I think it will probably be within the next few weeks. Leeds will creep into those top two places. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that's too soon? Do you think guys think we'll make a bit of a late charge? Or do you think that this is all just, I don't know, maybe a mountain too high to climb? I wouldn't necessarily agree with that one. Would I say today was the most exciting game ever from Leeds? No, I wouldn't. Would I say it was the most memorable performance by Leeds? No, I wouldn't. Would I say it was the most convincing performance by Leeds? No, I wouldn't. But it was another comfortable game. It was another game in which Blackburn had a few chances, probably more chances than we've given up in quite a few games, to be honest. Even that Rotherham game where they scored, they didn't really create any more chances than Blackburn did today. They had a few chances from crosses, but no real, crazy good opportunities. Medigay had to make a big save in the second half, 85th minute or whatever. But even then, it's a save I think he should be making. And aside from that, they didn't really faze us too much. And Leeds just looked comfortable. Again, I thought we controlled the middle of the park. I thought Glenn Kamara was phenomenal again today. I don't really have any complaints to say about him. We had quite a few conversations. We'll talk about it in a bit about Archie Gray. Does he get into that position? Well, if Mo Kamara keeps playing in the way he does, and then you got Ethan Ampadu who's got to get dropped as well, it's going to be very hard for him to get into that position because, listen, they're pulling up trees, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And listen, that's exactly what we need to do. As I said, we don't need to necessarily play the best. Maybe we might play a little bit more elegant with certain personnel in there. But it's working. We're churning out results. It's another game. It's another win. Like I said, Leeds didn't, set the house on fire. It wasn't the most expansive football I've ever seen. We created a good couple of chances. It wasn't a game where I'm looking at it saying could have been 6 or 7-0. Should it have been with the possession we had and the ability we had? I wouldn't even necessarily say that. I thought it was just a game where Leeds were really in third, fourth gear, quite comfortable and just relaxed, zipping the ball about, creating the odd couple of chances here and there. And it wasn't really the most dramatic game. But, as I said, we won. We won. That's the big thing. That is the huge thing. And listen, actually, as I'm here, I am looking at One Football, so I'm going to quickly check because the other games are going on right now. So let us just see if we can get ourselves some good news. Let's see. Let's check on the Leicester City game. Leicester are beating Plymouth 4-0. So, unfortunately, that is not a good thing. That maybe changes the sentiment of this video. Let's check Ipswich Town, and they're beating Middlesbrough 2-0. Fantastic. So, it is back to 7 points gap from the top two. And this is the scary thing. This is the scary thing. And my context of the video has changed already. This is the scary thing, is that Leeds are going to have to keep up this kind of form of momentum because these two sides aren't fucking losing, man. I was just sat here a minute ago telling you about how they were going to lose, how they were going to drop points. Well, as things stand, they aren't losing. But I still do believe it will only be a matter of a month or so before Leeds can creep in there if we don't give away stupid results. You know, the good news is a couple of those big teams, especially Leicester and Ipswich, they've got to come to Ellen Road, where we've been undefeated this entire season. Hopefully we can maintain that. And listen, if we go the entire season undefeated at home, I think we will definitely be automatically promoted. There's no way you can have that kind of home form and not go up. But it's just the other two are putting fucking freak campaigns in. Leeds are putting a freak campaign in, and we're still not in the top 2. It's ridiculous what's going on over there. But nonetheless, like I said, the fact West Brom drop points might alleviate a little bit of pressure, but then again, I don't think that bears too much relevance when you're still in the chasing pact. But for me, if we're going to be talking about key performances today, I think I would give my man of the match to Somerville. I thought Somerville, again, I struggled to look past him. Somerville is just absolutely unreal. He's the best player we've got at the club, shortly followed by Jorginho Rutter, who once again got himself an assist today for Dan James's goal. Lovely assist. Drives past the defender. He actually kind of messed up, tried to do a Ronaldo chop, tripped over the ball a bit, but still managed to muscle off the defender, break into the space, and then ping a beautiful ball to Dan James, who actually scored a beauty. And it's funny, everyone has always been so critical of Dan James's of Dan James's final product and end product, and I was one of them, while he was in the Prem. But this year, his end product has improved dramatically, and I'm not just talking about his goals, even his assists, even his crosses that he's putting in. He's actually timing it, he's waiting until the attacker makes the run, he's putting it in perfectly weighted, good dip, good spin, everything. His crosses are great, his finishing has gone up leaps and bounds since we had him in his last run at Leeds. So, listen, I have been thoroughly impressed with Dan James, and I've been impressed with Wilfred Gnonto over the past few weeks, what he's done off the bench. But you can't drop Dan James. I keep saying it. You cannot drop him. Who would have thought it? We'd be in a position here where you can't drop it, and he's actually gone under the radar a little bit. Everyone's been talking about Rutter. Everyone's been talking about Somerville, and rightly so. Everyone's been talking about Bamford and his misses. Everyone's been talking about Perot and what he does, and there's been a lot of debates around that. But one guy who hasn't had a lot of conversation about him is Daniel James. And he keeps scoring. He keeps on scoring. He keeps on chugging along. He's getting assists as well. He's very good on the counter-attack. He's a good presser. He has been very, very good this year, and I never thought I'd be saying that. I never thought I'd be seeing him in a Leeds United shirt again. When we let him go to Fulham, I thought that was it. I thought that was him done. But today I have to give a special shout-out to him. And I know I'm giving Somerville man of the match, but I really want to give a special shout-out to Dan James, and I also want to give a special shout-out to Kamara, and I want to give a special shout-out to Archie Gray, because we were debating about Archie Gray. Does he get into the centre of the park? Listen, has he got a higher ceiling than any other midfielder we have at the club? Absolutely, bar none. Listen, Liverpool don't come in and offer £45 million for a nobody. Okay, he's got the best ceiling out of any midfielder that we have, any central midfielder we have, that is. But is he currently at the level of a Kamara? Is he currently putting in the same kind of performances as an Ethan Ampadu in that same position? Hard to say that he is. Hard to say that he is currently. Obviously, it's because he's so young and he needs time to develop. Now, what we're left in the situation of is one or two decisions here. The first decision, you drop Kamara and or Ampadu for Archie Gray in the midfield, and when you do that, you're basically saying, I'm going to sacrifice my surefire midfield that we've had there that's been working perfectly the past few weeks or so, potentially leading to a drop-off, maybe on the odd game an increase in performance from the midfield when Archie Gray has a good day. But because Archie Gray is so young, he's going to have a lot of off days as well as he has good days. So you are risking potentially having him on an off day and having a less effective midfield just because you want to give him the game time to develop, because you think in the long term this is going to work out very well. However, you could look at the other side of, listen, we're in the race for our lives to get promoted here. There is so much hanging on it, and we can't afford to slip up or even draw games because, listen, look, you're seeing it now. Leicester and Ipswich are looking unformidable right now. Or formidable, they're looking, unstoppable right now. So we need to keep on winning, so we can't really risk it. That's the other way you'd look at it. And for me, like I said, I find it very hard to get him in that midfield just because of the other players in there. I think maybe he'll start to get a bit more time in the midfield when Jed Spence gets fully fit. Jed Spence featuring today, he was decent. You know, I liked. He played at left back, came on for Sam Byram, who went down with an injury. One of the moments where he did counter-attack and he sprinted forward about 50 yards. I like it. I like that for him. I like his legs. I like his energy. I haven't seen a lot from him yet. You know, he didn't play that long. And he hasn't played long for Leeds. He hasn't had barely any. He's had barely had a kick. So, you know, he's one of those players that I want to see. I want to see with a bit of consistent game time before I make any kind of judgment, good or negative, about Jed Spence. But like I said, when he comes back fully fit, I think that is when you potentially see Archie Gray go into the midfield. But listen, at the right back position, he can still impact games. Listen, I know defensively he's a bit green, but he can get himself involved in the midfield coming forward, similar to how Fabian Delph used to do for Man City. I think that's what Archie Gray started to implement a bit today, and I think it's what he needs to start to implement. You know, the way that he can start off at fullback, but when we have the ball, come into midfield and kind of make it like a three-man midfield and help them out. And that's exactly what he did. He gets the ball at right back, he drives forward diagonally, plays it to Nonto, gets the ball back, carries on his run into the middle of the park, plays the ball out to Rutter, gets the ball back first time again, and he's already in the centre of the park at this point, and he's able to break the line with a beautiful outside of the foot through ball to Somerville, who, oh, what a finish, mate. This guy is too classy. That finish had more class than your local secondary school, mate. Outside of the foot, dink, curl, Travella. Oh, it's beautiful. Overall, like I said, some very impressive performances. Archie Gray, Somerville, Rutter I thought was decent. Glenn Kamara and Dan James. I've got to give notable shout outs to. And overall, like I said, just a good day of football. Let me know what you guys think though. Do you guys agree with me about Gray, about the players, about the score? And do you think we will be able to catch the top two? Please let me know down in the comment section down below. For now, guys, I will see you very soon. Au revoir, my brothers.